Hi guys, it's KJM and you know what time it is. It's time for another countdown to Christmas Hallmark movie review. Last night at 8 p.m. Eastern, Christmas with a Kiss premiere starring Michelle Morgan, Ronnie Rowe Jr., and Jamie Calica. I hope I got all those names right. Anyway, I'm giving Christmas with a Kiss 8 out of 10. When I first saw this preview, I was like, at first super excited because I'm like, yes, we're getting some more diversity. We're getting some Black folks on here, and I love that. Then when I really realized that Hallmark recycled one of their usual, big city girl returns to small town, starts dating an ex-boyfriend, kind of like recycled a script we've seen a million times, I was just like, oh, this is going to be boring, and how am I going to get through it? And then I'm really sad that they're doing this when they've had movies, especially Miracles of Christmas, the holiday stocking last year. Baby, that was a Mahogany Presents. That movie, and Megan will tell you, is a tearjerker. And it was so good. So I was hoping it was going to be like a unique script, but then when I noticed it wasn't, I was like, all right, I still got to watch the movie, just like I watched like Christmas in Notting Hill and a bunch of other stuff that I wasn't too happy to watch. But Christmas with a Kiss was actually a little bit surprising because one of the things that worked are the leads definitely had chemistry. Michelle Morgan, I thought she was just absolutely stunning in every scene, whether she was pretending to sleep, whether she was eating s'mores. I mean, she's just a beautiful woman. So shout out to you if you're watching, Michelle, and I hope I'm saying your name right. I'm guessing you're named after your father, because if I change the S to a C, it would be Michael. So I'm guessing that's where you got your name from. Anyway, stunning. I love Ronnie Rowe Jr. ever since he did Inventing the Christmas Prince last year with Tamara Mowry Housley. That movie, I plugged it on almost every review I've done. If you haven't seen that movie, go ahead and go see that one. So I kind of fell in love with Ronnie then, but I do know he was in the Jingle Bell Bride, and I liked that movie too. I thought it was cute. So Ronnie, it's good to see you back on Hallmark. Love that for you. We've seen Jamie Calica before. He did a movie a couple years ago. Oh, and I can't think of who the lady is. It's going to come to me, but he's done some movies on Hallmark before. I haven't seen Michelle before, to my knowledge. I think this is her first Hallmark movie. To get an 8 out of 10 for your first Hallmark movie is really good. Now, let's get into the premise of the movie. So, Michelle has to go, she lives in New York City, and she has to go to upstate New York, Milton, New York, a small town, to go help her family with a carnival, a 10-day Christmas carnival that they run that ends with a Christmas dance. And so she has to go upstate and help her family with this or whatever. And not before she goes on a second date with a loser that she had met online. That's kind of reminding me that my dating life is non-existent and I need to put myself out there more. Thank you. Thank you, Mona is the character. Thank you, Mona, for reminding me that I need to get my stuff together too, even though I'm not buying into the timeline thing. So anyways, Mona goes on this second date with a guy she met online, and not before he tells her that he's gonna get back with his ex-wife and then wishes her a Merry Christmas, honey. So right off the bat, Christmas with a Kiss starts off with some spice, and it's just hilarious to me because we're all out there. If you're fundamentally a good person, you're out there, you want love, whether you're looking for it or hiding from it like I always do. We want that. And so I could feel Mona's character's disappointment when she thinks she had this great connection where she had like an 8-hour date with this guy, and then it turns out she reminded him of his ex-wife, and now he want to get back with his ex-wife. What a mess. Now, Mona gets in her car, she drives upstate. Here's one of my biggest things as someone that is from this New York, New Jersey tri-state area. New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, tri-state area. Upstate New York, it starts to snow, and it tends to start snowing early. This entire movie, I don't remember seeing any snow. Now, it was a cast of black folks, so maybe they was like, here's the deal. We'll act this movie, and I don't want a whole bunch of snow. But if you're going to be in upstate New York, especially around Christmas, you would have probably already started getting snow in November. And that's real. Go ask my auntie, because she lives upstate, okay? Have no clue if Milton is a real city or not. Anyway, Mona goes and she meets up with her family in Milton. And Milton is this quaint little town with great diversity. And right off the bat, you can feel the love of this community. And I love when Hallmark executes that so well, where you actually want to be part of the small town. Mona immediately bumps into her ex-boyfriend from high school, Fletcher, played by Jamie Callagher. And I thought this was interesting. He explained that he broke up with her with no notice because his grades were slipping, and his father told him he needed to focus on his grades, which is something that girls are told a lot throughout their lifetime when they're in school. You know, instead of focusing on boys, focus on your books. And I thought it was so nice to see that there was a black father out there that told his son, skip the girl, get in the books, and now he's a firefighter, right? Cool. Now, where does Ronnie Rowe's character come in? He plays Des, a reporter for Culture and Lifestyle magazine, I think is what it is. And he's supposed to be covering the 10-day carnival along with the dance. And, you know, supposedly he's under the guise of he's there to learn the spirit of Christmas. Right off the bat, we learned that Erin, Mona's sister, is a military wife. Her husband is in the Navy. They have 2 beautiful boys. And then he's not going to be able to make it home for Christmas this year. This is the first Christmas in 12 years that Mona and her boys will not be spending with their dad. And automatically, the military deployment storyline was very touching to me. I do have friends that are in military wives and have to deal with this type of thing all the time. And it kind of reminds us that the military families also serve along with the person that's in the service. So shout out to everyone in all the branches of the military services. We love you guys this holidays. And if you're not able to be home with your loved ones, take good care of yourself. And we're sending you our prayers and protection and love and light during this Christmas season. Yeah, I had to plug that before I forget. So, okay, so now Jackson, who's in the Navy, he's not going to be able to come home for Christmas. Des, his father and grandfather were both in the Navy, and he points out that his father is a very high up in the Navy, a very high up official in the Navy. And it turns out he ends up pulling strings for Jackson to be able to come home and spend Christmas with his wife and children, which I thought was beautiful. Now, as Mona is dating the ex-boyfriend from high school, even though he had a good reason for ghosting her, we just feel like there's not really a connect there. But Mona's thinking, hey, he's attractive, I'm attractive, let's see what we're going to do. And this was a beautiful black ass, honey. Everybody was pretty in this movie. Mona's parents tell Mona and Erin that they're getting older, and even though this Christmas carnival has been in their family for generations, they're not going to continue to do it after this year. So one of the girls has to take over. Erin already says she's a military wife. Wherever her husband's deployed is where the family has to go. So she'll help out as much as she can, but she can't make any promises. Mona is a social media brand ambassador in New York City, and she's just really thinking to herself, like, I don't want to take over this carnival. I don't have time for it. I have a career, okay? So now we got, Des there, and he's trying to tell Mona that her job is not really a job, but he quickly finds out that being a social media brand ambassador is actually a lot of work. It's just a different kind of work than most of us are used to. We see sparks start to fly between Des, but we see Mona still trying to push herself towards Fletcher because it just makes more sense. And then finally she realizes that her and Fletcher are not equally yoked. Fletcher wants adventure. Mona wants to settle down and have children. Fletcher doesn't want to have children. In this movie, no one was really the bad guy. There were some awkward moments, yes, but no one was the bad guy. People just were not equally yoked. And Mona realizes that her and Des are more equally yoked and he's the person for her, but not before finding out that he really came to town to write a bad review about the Christmas carnival. But then her family showed him the Christmas spirit, and now he loves Christmas, and he wrote the correct article about how good Christmas with the St. Clairs and this carnival really was. All right, Christmas with a Kiss. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Let me know if you tuned in, and I'm out.